They said I would get scurvy, but this is what happened instead. Welcome to episode 82 of the Obesity Project. My name is Dr. Mark Shankman. So people love to freak out when you tell them you're doing carnivore. You'll get scurvy, they say. You need fiber to poop. You're going to clog your arteries. They say it with confidence, but not with science. So today, I'm setting the record straight because I've eaten only meat and animal products for 90 days. And here's what didn't happen. So we're going to begin with the scurvy myth and what they got wrong. So let's start with the most dramatic claim. You'll get scurvy if you don't eat fruits or vegetables. Well, scurvy is caused by a vitamin C deficiency. But here's what most people don't realize. That vitamin C and glucose compete for absorption via the same transporters, the GLUT1 and GLUT3 receptors that transport these molecules, vitamin C and glucose, across the intestine and through the cells. So when you remove carbs and sugar, your body actually can absorb and utilize much smaller amounts of vitamin C more efficiently. And there was a study in Medical Hypothesis in 2004 that suggested in the absence of glucose, the body's vitamin C needs drop very significantly. Also, meat does contain vitamin C, especially raw or lightly cooked organs like liver, kidney, and even muscle meat. So the takeaway from this is you don't need oranges, you don't need lemons, you don't need limes to avoid scurvy. You need metabolic balance. No fiber, no problem. So here's the next myth. You'll be constipated without fiber. Not true. Fiber draws water into the colon and, yes, does add bulk. But in the absence of fermentable carbs, it can also cause gas, bloating, and irritation. And there was a study published in the World Journal of Gastroenterology in 2012 that found that reducing or eliminating fiber actually improved constipation in patients with chronic bowel issues. And that matches my experience. Fewer bowel movements, no constipation, no bloating or GI discomfort. So as an analogy, imagine giving your digestive system a break from all of the indigestible fillers. Carnivore does exactly that. So what about heart disease and cholesterol? So this is where people panic. All that saturated fat, your cholesterol must be going through the roof. But here's the nuance. Cholesterol alone is not the full story, right? Cholesterol is not a medical condition. Elevated cholesterol causes other medical conditions like heart disease. Yet, we have to get into the details. That's just on the surface level. That's very shallow thinking. The problem is we want to determine the root cause like we always do here on the Obesity Project. So what really matters is triglyceride levels, HDL to triglyceride ratio, which is far more predictive of cardiovascular disease than total cholesterol or even LDL cholesterol. Inflammation or elevated C-reactive protein and other cytokines, insulin sensitivity, and LDL particle size. And this is the one thing your doctor rarely ever checks for. And I've been on Carnivore 90 days now. I had my labs drawn, just waiting on results. One of the things we tested for was LDL particle size, because the smaller particles are much more inflammatory, and the larger LDL particles are more buoyant and less likely to attach to the endothelium, those lining cells inside our arteries, and cause atherosclerotic plaques. So there was a 2010 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that found absolutely no association between saturated fat and increased risk of heart disease. On low carbohydrate and carnivore diets, many people see improved HDL, lower triglycerides, and decreased C-reactive protein, all markers of better metabolic health. So the translation is, it's not the fat, it's the context. So item number 4, nutrients are more bioavailable in meat. This is something that very few people actually talk about. Plant nutrients, they come with a lot of baggage. Anti-nutrients like oxalates, lectins, phytates that block absorption. Animal-based nutrients, on the other hand, are highly bioavailable and in the right form, like heme iron, retinol, DHA. These are all forms of vitamins and minerals that are actually taken in and absorbed in the proper form that we actually utilize them in the human body. Whereas many of the other forms, like folic acid, have to be converted into the active ingredient in our body. So, many of the essential nutrients that we need, the vitamins and minerals, and particularly the fat-soluble vitamins, are absorbed in a much more metabolic, ready-to-go way of absorbing. So research shows that iron from meat is absorbed up to 10 times more efficiently than from plants. And retinol, which is an animal-based vitamin A, is usable as is, unlike beta-carotene from carrots, which must be converted, and that conversion is pretty inefficient. So the takeaway from this is you don't need more variety, you need more absorbability. So final thoughts. This has been episode 82 of the Obesity Project. They said I'd get scurvy, but this is what happened instead. So what did I experience on 90 days of carnivore? No digestive issues, no energy crashes, no cravings, no scurvy, and most importantly, no dogma. You don't need kale chips and quinoa to be healthy. You do need metabolic clarity, nutrient density, and less noise. The more I stripped away, the more clearly I saw what health could feel like. So don't forget, here on the Obesity Project, we're cutting through the myths, getting to the root. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time, effort, and your attention. Please share this with others that need to know that I'm not going to get scurvy by being on carnivore. You're not going to get scurvy by being on a low-carb, ketogenic diet. You can actually survive, believe it or not, you can actually survive on animal protein alone without eating any vegetables. So in 90 days, no vegetables for me. So thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.